I'm Lee Cheuk-yan, Chairman of the Hong Kong Alliance in support of patriotic democratic movement in China.
So thanks a lot, Mr. Lee, for being interviewed by me. So let me start by asking the question. With 1989, the Tiananmen incident happened so many years ago. Some people are asking or wondering, like, can you guys kind of take a page from South Africa President Nelson Mandela, the truth and reconciliation approach, forgive but not forget? So what's your comment on that?
Yeah, but before we can forgive, we need really the truth out. And also, we should not forget forgot what had happened. And when you look at 89, you know, even today, after 22 years, the Tiananmen Square massacre victims are not yet able to know what actually had happened to their families. And there are no truth investigation, there's nothing revealed. The regime even tried to, you can say, erase the memory from the people of China. The younger generation did not have any knowledge at all of June 4th. And when you try to go to the internet and, you know, put in the word 6 and 4 together, then it's banned totally. So the problem is, compared with South Africa, you know, South Africa reconciliation is based on truth and based on negotiation, based on the apartheid government willing to give up their power. But when you look at China, Communist China, they are not willing to give up one-party rule. They have not undertaken any investigation into the truth of June 4th. They have not even talked to the victims.
Seems like the new youth of Hong Kong who are entering into politics and more interested in the politics of Hong Kong, they are more leaning towards the newer, may I say, the more left-leaning party. The League of Social Democrats, which is leading by Long Hair and the other people, and also People Powers by Raymond Wong. And they are kind of not going to the traditional route of the Democratic Party or all the other traditional democratic parties. So what's your view on this trend? Like, is it going to be detrimental to the Democratic Party and the other old gods of the democracy of Hong Kong?
Actually, I don't think it's detrimental. You know, it's actually a supplement. You know, I think, you know, we should, in democratic society, there should be a spectrum. And the spectrum is meaning a choice for the people. You know, if young people want to have more radical way of expressing themselves, it's okay. You know, but when I say it's okay, it means also as long as also we unite together. You know, unity is also very important. You know, I think it's okay when everyone has different strategy and tactics. But we believe that we should also be united in a common united front facing the communist regime.
And the reason that they're not joining you is because they think that you guys have lost touch and not being kind of like in the touch with the people. Is that a valid criticism?
No, I don't think it's valid in the sense, you know, there's, as I said, a spectrum of people. You know, there are people who don't want to be that radical in a way. There are people who want to be more radical. There are people who are more conservative. But in a way, we should be united when there's a common theme. And actually, there's some unity also in our movement sometimes. You know, like the July 1st march. Everyone marched together, you know, but then it's up to the people whether they will join in the so-called after rally action. You know, it's up to the people to decide. So, but we are united together in the march itself. It's very important against the regime, Hong Kong government recent proposal to deprive people of the right to vote in the by-election. I think this is very clear that we come out in unity. So it's more important that there should be more unity and less split. And we don't mind people taking different action, but I think the action should be against the government and not against each other. the high-speed rail incident is very much showing the social contradiction within the society. The regime is really out of touch with people. They think that they can use the old way of burying evidence and without prioritizing the saving of life. And people are really angry with the incident. The mainstream media are critical of the regime handling of the issues.
Do you mean the mainstream media in China?
In China. Even in China, the mainstream media are critical. And then, they are not able to shut up the mainstream media, and then it explodes through the net. So all the nets are very much showing the anger of the people towards the disregard of life of this regime. Right. And of course, behind that, it's also about corruption. Why are there such an incident happening? Why are there disregard of safety? Why are the system not working? Is it because they are pushing the whole rail too fast? And are there a lot of corruption behind the building of the railway? So they want to build more and more and more, so that they can corrupt more and more and more. It's a matter
corrupt
of money.
Meaning like taking bribes and making money.
Of course, if you have such a, it's a 1,000 billion business. So if the minister concerned can get a lot of money out of this contract, for sure. So that's why they're pushing so much in
and it's not just one person, right?
It's not as a whole system.
It's a system.
The system. The corruption is always a system. You have to distribute downward in a way. But of course, the highest pay guy are always the one that corrupt the most. The most powerful guy always get more money. But that's the system now, and it happened all over the country. And these are problems that really anger the people. Not just one incident of the high-speed rail, but lots of incidents whereby workers, citizens are bullied by the rich and powerful. There are anger among residents who are deprived of their private property for the sake of private developer and compensate very little, and there are corruption, of course, involved in the whole confiscation. And these anger are everywhere. And so I think these 5 years are very important for China in the sense that these are years of change for change. I think I'm really very, very glad that the minimum wage have finally been through. And I think the criticism is misguided. Firstly, misguided in the sense that there's a lot of complaint that we are pushing the wages too high and causing business to close down. But come on, in Hong Kong, it's not that we are pushing the wages too high. It was the wages have been too low. And we push it to a reasonable level, and workers have not have a pay rise for years. They deserve a pay rise. And also the problem of Hong Kong business cost is always with the property prices, the rent. Say for example, a restaurant, they have a rent increase by 60,000 a month, but the wages increase may only by 10,000 or 20,000 per month. So when you compare the rent, the wage increase is not really anything. But when people close down, they want to blame on the minimum wage because it's a new thing. But actually, you should blame it on the rents increase. And secondly, when you say that they are complaining that workers are getting less, that's not true. Workers are getting more. More than 200,000 families or workers have get a pay rise. And some of the pay rise really significant. 20%, 30% pay rise. It's not just 5%, 10%.
Right.
So I'm really happy that finally Hong Kong had a change in the wage structure in the sense that the low-paid workers got more now in this year, and we have reversed the trend of ever decreasing wages for the low-pay sector.
Right.
I think China now is the year that had the worst human rights suppression. There are all the human rights defenders, many of them being rounded up and arrested or forced disappearance. There are new way of suppression. Like the wife of Liu Xiaobo, Liu Xia, was being put under house arrest. Ai Weiwei is now under house arrest when he cannot communicate with outside. He is also constantly monitored by lots of public security. The same case with the poisonous milk powder victim Zhao Lianhai. So these detention or house arrest is now very common in China, and these form of news suppression show that this regime is really afraid of the people. They're really afraid that human rights defender, people who dare to speak out the truth, join hands together to criticize the regime, and so they want to isolate them. They want to shut them up, but even if you shut them up, the people still rise up for their rights because they are being suppressed.
Right. So did you guys try to get in touch with Ai Weiwei or Liu Xia or the poisoned milk powders Zhao Lianhai?
Yeah, of course we try to contact them, but it's very difficult. Because they are cut off by the whole regime. So we may have to contact them through some middleman in China. So we are trying to get more out of the information out of the various suppressed situation in China and try to support their release.
Right.
I think it's very important to always stick to your ideals. Never give up. There may be lots of frustration, but one has to stick to your ideal in order to overcome all this frustration. And I think one will be finally feel very much in a way fulfilled in the sense that you feel that your life is really worth it because you have fight the good cause.
You had a civil engineering degree from I think Hong Kong University, right? Your parents must not be thrilled when you enter into politics years and years ago.
Of course,
what was their view then?
Of course, they oppose it because I'm giving up a very secure life and going to politics, going to social movement, going to labor movement, which at that time 30 years ago is not too common, and so earning very very little. But for me personally, I think this is the right choice.
How many years did it take you to convince your own parents? Like, what was that process like for you? Was it a lot of struggle? Like they keep on nagging you?
Of course there's some nagging, but once you start to, they still love you, so they will let you do your own things in a way. But when things can't get sort of a little bit stormy or bad, they would really nag me again, because especially after Tiananmen Square, when I was arrested for 3 days, detained in 3 days in Beijing for my role in the Tiananmen Square.
You carry $1 million,
$1 million
cash to try to help the movement.
Yeah,
then, right?
but I carry the money too at the very last moment, and the massacre already started. So I was detained for 3 days. After that, of course, my parents are more worried, and they try to convince me out of the movement. But I'm committed to the movement, and I think this is a lifelong.
How old were you then?
I was at the time of the Tiananmen Square, I was 32.
32.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's 22 years behind, and but I think that the struggle for democracy for me is a lifelong struggle.
Right. So your advice to young kids of these days of university, and if they have the passion, is am I rephrasing you right? Kind of ignore their parents and go ahead with their own passion, or how would you put it?
Yeah, I would put it this way. You make your own life, nobody else. You have to make the choice. You are the one that pursued your own ideals, and it's your life that you have to struggle for yourself. Nobody else can take the place of yourself in making the decision.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Lee.
Thank you.